This is a noon kickoff Eastern. We're asking Oregon to travel across the country, play at 9 o'clock, their body clock, Pacific time. And this is the plight of the Pac-12, basically, as we need to accommodate everybody else because we want to be relevant. They emerged from the pandemic last year playing a 9 a.m. local time game in Los Angeles, USC and Arizona State, again, to grab that what is a prime time window for the Fox programming strategy is grabbing that noon Eastern time window. So, guys, what do we think? I guess I'll start with Steve. Do we think this is significant that Oregon has to play at 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time?
Well, I think it is tough on them. I think what we saw going to Ohio State's practices, however, is during preseason camp, Ohio State was practicing at 9 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning a lot of times to avoid the heat of the afternoon. And I'm not sure what Oregon did during the preseason, but if they did have any number of practices at 8:30 or 9 o'clock local time, then playing a football game on that body clock time of 9 in the morning shouldn't be that big of a deal to them. I mean, it's the travel. I presume they're coming out Thursday. Typically, teams that cross the country do go out an extra day early to acclimate a little better and really to have Friday to put their feet up and get rid of the jet lag and then be ready to play, be fresh and play a football game on Friday, or rather on Saturday. So it is a little bit of an impact. I think it sucks from the standpoint for the Pac-12 and the Oregon fans. But Fox is all in. They've pushed all their chips into the middle of the table on this big noon branding that they love. And if they've got their hands on a marquee game, you can pretty much rest assured it's going to be in the noon time slot because CBS and ABC and potentially even NBC at times now are going to put some of their bigger games, and ESPN certainly at night. It's more of a crowded time slot at 7:30, 8 o'clock. So not as many marquee games played across the country at noon Eastern time. And so that's where Fox has taken up shop, and their ratings dictate that it's probably a good decision. Ohio State, Minnesota was very widely viewed on Thursday night. I believe the ratings came back at just short of 7 million on average. Watch that game. It won the night in prime time against reality TV and reruns and other things. So Fox has got a bit of a machinery, even though they don't have the playoff. They are able to drive an audience to some of these major sporting events and top games, and they've found a way to do it. So this is their thing, and Ohio State fans don't like it. They think that this should be a 3:30 or a 7 o'clock game, and I'm with them. I understand that. From my standpoint, I cover a high school game Friday. I imagine these guys will probably be out at a game too, and then you have to get to bed and get up and get down there 8:30. And Ohio State's telling their people, one, because all the parking passes are going to be on your smartphone now. And secondly, there's going to be delays getting into the stadium because your tickets are on your smartphone as well. And you got to go through security and everything else. So they're telling people to get down there early. So you ordinarily would get down there early. I mean, you can't even tailgate for a noon game. You get down there by 10 o'clock, set your table up, eat your food, drink your beer. And 11 o'clock, you got to tear it all down because it's time to go in and watch the band. So, it just, I hate the noon games for rushing around. But as these guys know, I love clocking out at 7 o'clock and finding wherever we can find the cold Budweiser, I guess, at that point. So that's the good thing.
Kevin's got a roll, but if you want to say anything about Ohio State, Oregon, anything on your plate, Kevin, go.
I had a whole speech to sit there and tell the people that just can't handle the noon games to suck it up, Buttercup. That's life in the big city, but I got to go. I know that I need to get in and get my picks in for this game, but I definitely like Ohio State with or without Thibodeau, with or without Flo. I think that without both of them, it certainly makes the path easier, but I think we're going to see a lot of growth from Ohio State from week 1 to week 2. I don't think Oregon is nearly as bad as what we saw in the Fresno State game, but I don't think Ohio State's nearly as bad as what we saw in terms of maybe some of it's being stuck in neutral against Minnesota. A return home to Ohio Stadium is going to be just what the doctor ordered for the team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing fans in that stadium for the first time since 2019. So with that, that's all I got.
Kevin Noon, follow him on Buckeye Scoop. Get on over there. Thank you so much, Kevin. Enjoy the game.
See you guys.
Yep.
All right, let's bring it home. Tony's on a short leash as well. Needs to jump at 2:30 sharp, correct?
That is correct.
Excellent.
I will also say, regarding the 9 a.m. kickoff, I couldn't imagine doing anything at 9 in the morning in college. So I feel for these kids. I hope they're okay. And good luck to those Oregon kids who, as Steve said, they are getting in. They are coming in Thursday night. So they'll have all day Friday to get acclimated to East Coast time.
But absolutely. And to underline that, we're not asking them to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and go run some errands or do a few chores around the house. We're asking them to run like 20 miles an hour and run right into another human being at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's a little more difficult than my usual routine in trying to drag myself out of bed on a Saturday morning as well. We got NBA fan getting back to CJ Stroud and the quarterback situation. NBA fan, thank you so much for the super chat contribution. Stroud is the first quarterback at Ohio State since Todd Beckman, 2007, that did not do anything better than the quarterback before him. Of course, we're looking at a one-game sample, excluding the Bosserman interlude. Thoughts, Steve?
What? You lost me. This is the second most yards I think a quarterback has ever thrown in their first start behind Dwayne Haskins' 300-yard game. So, I have no clue whatever you're trying to get at. Justin Fields and whatever, his debut was 19. I don't know. Come on, man. I don't know what you're getting at. Again, he did it was raining. It was night. It was on the road. Ohio State usually opens at home against, Toledo or somebody. I mean, come on. What? I don't get it. I don't get it. Quality opponent.
I will. Was Braxton Miller? I guess he was better than Terrell Pryor. He improved upon Terrell Pryor, and I think that's what NBA fan is asking. That you've seen these steps, and I think the reason you don't necessarily see a step up from Justin Fields is because Justin Fields is the best quarterback in Ohio State football history. Before him,
per capita.
And before him, Dwayne Haskins was the best passing quarterback in Ohio State history. Before him, JT Barrett was the most prolific quarterback in Ohio State history. And then before him, you had Braxton Miller, who was going to be close to like the all-time leading rusher and all-time leading passer in Ohio State history. So they've had a good run. And so, CJ Stroud could eventually get there, but game one, it's really hard to improve on what Justin Fields did. And I think, and I'm not saying NBA fan I think maybe he's just pointing out, hey, look at this. This is the first time since whenever that Ohio State hasn't expounded. And through no fault of CJ Stroud's own, I just think, Justin Fields is up here, and everybody else is, down there, and they've got a ways to go to catch him.
Yeah, if you're taking it like that, and Tony, that's a good way to look at that question or comment, is the steps can only go so high. So once they recruit and sign the next Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, yes, then they'll hit the very top. But it's kind of a difficult climb from here. But as Steve says, 4 touchdowns and 294 in the book is pretty good, and 45 points on the board, 38 on offense.
He did have more total yards than Justin Fields in Fields' debut in 2019 as well, and I believe that was against Florida Atlantic.